Um, you know, I'm super excited about our guest today, Taryn.
Me too. This is going to be fun.
So fun. We've got a lot of people who have given us amazing feedback about my new pictures. And we told you guys on the podcast, we like to take you on the journey about all things coming up in the brand photography. But you didn't know it was going to be as amazing as it was. And today we have the woman, the brand, the impactful brand behind my photos, which is the
hmm
amazing Brittney Jean. And she is here to talk all about branding.
Yes, the woman behind the camera. She's
Exactly.
here.
She's here. And what I think you're gonna love is she has some really amazing tips on how you can have an impactful, I'll get the word out, impactful
Yes.
brand that you're gonna wanna listen to and put into place. Like seriously, she is a dynamo, and I'm so glad that you guys get to hear her. So I recommend you listen to the entire podcast. She's got 5 amazing tips and all the things. And I took notes and have quotes from what she talked about. And I know it's going to help all of you. So let's take a listen.
Let's do it.
Brittney Jean, it's so good to see you.
Oh, so good to see you too, Roxanne and Taryn.
I know. Well, I feel like you and Taryn are getting to see each other in the flesh. You've seen each other this is not really the flesh. This is the podcast, but you guys have seen each other once before.
Twice, but yes.
Twice before. Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like I was on vacation the first time I met you, and I like snuck in really quick for the call.
you
We were,
probably were.
yeah, we were both in hotel rooms talking to her, remember? And we are like, I don't know what we just did. Remember that? When we did that
Like I
whole
felt like we should have done like what
what
happened?
if it
So
happened? We should have paid more attention, but it was great because you're amazing. But we were doing that whole branding exercise, and I'm like, I was doing it in bed in a hotel room in Pasadena. I remember this.
I remember that too. It was very dark.
She's probably like, these people are interesting.
No, you're just girl bossing, like
That's right.
balance, working and playing.
That's right. Well,
Love
I
it.
have to, I always have to give credit where credit's due. So I got to give Taryn credit because without Taryn, I would not have known you, Brittany, and that wouldn't have been as a great life as it is right now.
I know, right? She's the glue. I love it.
She is the glue.
I was just as soon as Roxanne was like photos, I was like, you got it, girl. And boop, there's Brittany. I'm like, wow, gosh, this one's perfect. Like, let's just check her
Oh,
out for a second. And so I didn't even keep going down my list. I was like, this is her. Boom.
Yeah, a second became like a
I love
relationship.
it.
So we love that so much. I have to say, when it comes to one of the things I love about you is that you are more than photography. Although, listen, if you are a photographer out there, you know one, that's great. Photography, awesome, amazing. But you go deeper. And that was what we were looking for. We were ready to change the brand, which, by the way, Brittany, if there isn't a day that I don't hear, oh my gosh, I love your new photos. Oh my gosh, I
Oh,
love the new look. Then it's not a day that ends in Y. Like seriously, people are just cavelling over them. But there's a difference
Love it.
between going on Instagram and like doing the hashtags, just what I was doing, and finding looking for a photographer and going, I can't. And doing what Taryn did to find a brand photographer. Can you define what a photographer is for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So a brand photographer is someone who helps a business owner, elevate their image, their marketing image, their visual marketing so that they can stand out amongst their competition, amongst their industry. So, it's a very new term still. I feel like, there's not very many brand photographers, although we are seeing, an influx of people moving into this space, but it's still a very relative new term. But you can also define it as a commercial photographer because it's someone who's actually working with the business, helping a business create marketing collateral so that they can really show more than just words about their product or service. Excuse me.
And it's early in the morning, so thank you for being
Just
for
clear the air.
yeah, clear the everyone but Taryn, who's in sunny Florida, living it up.
yeah, I'm living over here with my sunburn right now. So
So commercial, that's interesting. So commercial, it's funny because when I think of commercial photography, I think of someone working like with a big business. And so,
Mhm.
but it also means that you can't just pick up a camera and take pictures and make sure someone looks good. You're looking at the entire aesthetic or the messaging of the brand. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. It goes far deeper than, just the messaging or the aesthetics. It really is like, how do you want people to perceive you? What do you want them to automatically think before you even say a word sometimes, right? It's like, how do we tell the story of what it feels like, what it looks like to work with you and not someone else, right? So it's all of those components working together. Of course, the messaging, the aesthetics, but it's telling the story, telling people, giving them an example of what's the experience going to be like when you work with me.
I had fun with it because, you start getting ready for a brand photo shoot and you're like, oh, let's like get our brand colors. Like, and you kind of, Roxanne and I stopped there. We're like, okay, well, what's beyond that? And then you had all these prompts of like these words that we wanted people to like feel when they just looked at a picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what's different than just like a regular, like a photo shoot you go get with your family and you're trying to all match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that you said that because I find that now I look back at my Instagram and I'm like, oh, I feel those emotions, which is super exciting. And the reason I think it's so important you talk to network marketers, right? Not only because you get us because you do, you did it, you captured it, is because for a network marketer, initially they might not be thinking, I need a brand photographer. And I don't want anyone who's listening right now to think, oh my gosh, Roxanne's saying I need to go spend X amount of dollars and get a Brittney. Although, like, who doesn't want a Brittney? Okay. But there's some things that a network marketer could do, right? Even starting out to put into place some good things that are going to help them with their pictures on social. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And, I understand that like people are going to be at different points in their business to where it's like, you're going to have to be more conscious of how much money you spend, which is why I do have a brand photo shoot checklist that you can download on my page. So you can take that to a photographer and say, hey, like, this is what I want to capture. Can you capture this for me? Now you're going to be doing most of the legwork. You're going to be doing all of the legwork because the photographer is just going to show up and you're going to have to tell them, hey, this is what I want. You're going to have to be very vocal about that. But you can still create a brand photo shoot. You can still create these images no matter what budget you have, but it's going to be, the difference is going to be, who's doing more of the work, who's giving more value, right? And that's where the difference is, but I know your goal is to say, hey, like, this is the opportunity for you to like elevate your brand, stand out amongst other network marketers, right? And this is how you can do it on your budget. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. But if you do, great. If you have that budget, amazing, right? Because as busy business owners, you're not going to want to do all of that legwork yourself. But when you're just starting out, you're going to have the time to do it. So do what works for you in your budget.
I love that. Thank you for empowering us to know that it's okay. It doesn't matter what your budget is. There's still things you can do to make those pictures matter. I'll admit that, I initially tell people like, just grab your phone and take pictures because a lot of times what I see is that, and I do want you to go in. I know we've got some knowledge to just suck out of the brain of Brittney today, but, what I find is a lot of times when network marketers start, I'll sit down with them and I'll say, wow, on your social media, I see all of this branded photography from your company about your products, but I'm not actually seeing you.
Yeah.
And what happens, as we unpack that a little bit more, is it's clear that they do not feel comfortable showing themselves. And I mentioned that to you, and I want your thoughts on that, and I'll tell you why I ask you that. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, we have a few things to unpack here. Yes, I do believe that you should start by getting photos of yourself just from your phone, right? Like grab the boyfriend, grab the boo, grab the husband, okay? And have them take some photos, It's going to be a learning lesson for the both of you because you're going to need absolute patience, But if you can't post a photo of yourself from your phone that someone else takes of you, right? Or that you take of yourself, like we've got more work to do. You know, it's being able to sit in the imperfection, right? And being able to show up anyway and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. And so even for me as a brand photographer, you will see that I'm posting photos of, you know, myself or my phone on my page with a mix of my brand photos. But I started by just starting, you know, and not with the camera, you know, not with quality photos myself. So you have to start somewhere. You know, you don't have to jump from A to Z. You can jump from A to B and still be enough. So that's the first thing, is like, okay, getting out of the way of like, I have to be perfect in this very sometimes kind of vain social media, right? Like of having to have the best photos, the best videos, right? So it's getting out of that imperfection and getting into the serve mode of like, I'm going to show up today because I'm going to also maybe inspire another woman to do the same. Maybe inspire my team, right? The team that I'm building, that like, hey, it doesn't have to be so perfect and pretty, you know? So that's one thing. What was your other question?
Well, that sermon took me to church right there, and I loved it. But one of the things that, like, the reason I asked you that is one of the things that really stood out to me, because I realized as I was doing my brand photo shoot, and I'm excited to do it. And I've done pictures in the past. I started feeling that, oh my gosh, I am not the weight I want to be. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
This may not be right. You know that the night before some crazy things happened, and I was like, ah. And I love it. For those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, Taryn's eyes just got really big, like, oh my gosh. But you start to the insecurities start to creep in when you realize you're going to be on camera. And I love being in front of people, and I'm like, oh. But
Yeah.
something you said and you wrote in, like, I saw it. It must have been in big, like, billboard writing in my mind. It was that the day of the photo shoot, there will be no negative talk about yourself. Like, there's no place for that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't accept that. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Okay. So literally the night before, and I was thinking of these things, I'm like, I gotta get it right and straight, because Brittany's not gonna let me, like, she's gonna shut the photo shoot down if I talk like that. So I've got to, like, realize and be like, go away, all the gremlins.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one way that I empower my clients is by doing what I tell them to do, like first and foremost, you know? So I started off my year with my brand photo shoot, right? And I wasn't at the weight that I am. And you might be looking at me like, oh, you're thin, right? But it's like, no, we all are striving to this goal of like, we want to be here, but we're not there yet. And you know, the thing is that if we wait to be ready, we're going to get left behind. You know, we are. And in waiting, we're also going to hinder the people behind us or to the side of us, you know, because like we all have a purpose here. And if you feel strongly and so passionate about something, you're not going to let those excuses, your flaws, your insecurities stop you from showing up.
That's so true. Like, I keep seeing this quote lately around, and it's like, you can be enough right now and a work in progress. So still show up on social media, still show up, post that picture of you from your phone. Like, that is a perfect start. And you can still be also working towards, maybe like you want to invest in a brand photography shoot. Like, you can get to that point, but you don't have to pause your business until you can get to that.
And we don't need to wait till I'm 20 pounds lighter, 30 pounds lighter. It's like, buy the jeans now. Don't wait till like you fit into them. Get the photos done now. We're our own worst critic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Start posting now. Start showing up and marketing yourself now, because chances are whatever you're selling, people don't even really care. They if you could start showing up and showing who you are and showing your value and how passionate you are, that is marketing 101, right? Like, they're going to want to work with you, right? Which is the problem that I have, because now I'm growing my team and it's like, oh, I just want to, I get on a sales call and it's like, I just want to work with you. And I'm like, oh man, like I gotta start selling my team or having my team sell themselves, you
Yeah,
know?
just so you know, when I go back for my next photo, like, I don't want your team. Just,
See,
um,
Roxanne has told me that.
I know I've said it a few times. I
I'm
don't want your
coming
team, though.
back for the next round, or I'm
You are
coming down, over, left, right, wherever. Who knows where I'll
up
be?
from San
Which,
Diego. You'll come
which
up from San
direction I have to
Diego.
come?
See Taryn's move. I love
Yeah,
it.
Taryn's moving to California. It's decided. So there's that. I'm manifesting that, and it's out. It's happening. So just so you know, that's a thing.
It's in the
I
works.
love it.
It's in the
I'm
works.
working on getting over sticker shock of apartment prices.
Here's the thing. Just a little sidebar. Brittney, wouldn't you agree? Once you live here, you just deal with it. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm dealing with it. No comment. No comment.
Back to branding.
I love that. All right, you have some tips for us. And it's so funny because you are this doesn't surprise me. You're so organized. And so like when we did the brand, it was like we're going to have a meeting before the shoot, like a month before, which first of all, that's uber organized. Right. Okay, so meeting and she had all these things and I'm like, I don't know, avocados? Like I don't know what the answer to this stuff is, but it helped us think in a really good way and it prepped us. Wouldn't you say, Taryn? Like once we did that, we're like, we got it. Like, oh yeah, boom boom. Um,
Hmm.
but you came to the podcast. You're like, I was thinking about branding, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you lead the podcast, go girl. So you used a word that I think was really important. Can you tell us what you have, and then we'll break it down.
Yeah. So, everyone is throwing around like, how to create a brand, right? But what I don't hear is how to create an impactful brand because anyone can create a brand, especially now with social media. Like,
Mm.
just throw your photos up there, throw some sales messaging up there, show your face, you got a brand. But how do we take it a step further and create an impactful brand? Like a brand that's actually going to help really make people's lives better, even if they don't buy your product or service, but they learn something from you, they're inspired by you, you help them in an area of their life or their business that goes honestly even further than just, working with your set amount of clients of the year.
I need to pause right there. That's really, as Taryn would say, juicy. I would say that sounds like sweet or something. Because that's so good. Like, it's not about how much you sell, but how much impact you can put in someone's life.
Mhm.
How did you make their life better? And if
Mhm.
we look at everything we post through that lens, except for those of you who like to get analysis by paralysis, that can be really helpful, right? You're not going to throw up crap
Mhm.
on your social media uh, because that's not going to be impactful. You're going to look at, okay, wait, yes, this might brighten someone's day because it's just funny, right? I might want to see Taryn's kids running around Florida, which I've been watching over the last couple of days because it's like, oh, it's so cute, it's so special, and it makes me feel a little bit better, right? Um, but I'm not going to put things up just because of something that I need to happen. I'm not going to
Yeah,
use it.
you show up differently on social media. It's not from a place of like me, which doesn't come across well on social media. It comes of like, how can I entertain someone? Sometimes that's what I just think about. Like when I'm posting, like one of my like values is to be like entertaining and funny and just like someone who you like to be around. And that makes it easier to post. Like I'm making an impact because I'm now posting something that might be entertaining to somebody.
Mhm. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we do that? How do we become more impactful, or how do we create an impactful brand? Because it starts there and then
Yeah.
it all trickles into to everything we do. So how do we do that?
Yeah. Well, first let's share about, what is a brand because, I think that's still it's really going to set the tone for the 5 steps that I believe, to create an impactful brand, the 5 steps that you need to take or think about. And so, the first thing a mentor of mine, she said a brand is, what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? And that couldn't be
Good.
more true. Yeah.
That's
Have
so
you
good.
have you heard that before, Tara? No, I feel like
Uh-uh.
yeah.
I've never
No.
heard that either.
You never heard that either. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. I feel like, man, everybody knows that. But And then again, it's it's you being an expert at something, and you're like, wait, everyone should know this, and they don't, and that's a good learning lesson, right? That you need to be
Mm-hmm.
consistently educating people about what you do. So yes. So the first thing that you need to do to create an impactful brand is number one, dig deep into your why. So that's write out your goals for your business, like what
Mm-hmm.
you want, what you want out of your business, how many people that do you want to impact, right? And that can be how many people do you want to impact and actually work with, and how many people do you want to impact outside of, who you work with, right? So writing that down, and writing down like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing it? Like, who are you doing it for? And what's the purpose for this all? That's the first step.
So in network marketing, the why thing, what's your why? Like I just it brings back memories. If the why is important, I agree with you, but
Yeah.
sometimes it goes like, what's your why? Your why should make you cry. All this, and like I think for someone who's just starting and is thinking, I just wanted to start a business. What would
Yeah.
you say to them to figure out what their why is?
Yeah. You know, the first thing that I would do is actually write out, why is this important to you? I wanted to start a business. And then write out again, why is it important to you that you wanted to start a business? 7 times. When you get to that 7th why, right? Of why it's important to you, that's when you found your why, right? That's when you're going to be able to really be like, wow, oh, I see that the reason why I want this is because I want to have freedom of my own time. The reason why I want this is because I want to be able to create deeper relationships with other people. The reason why I want to do this is because I want other people to have this opportunity too, the freedom, the options, right? Like, so if you can say, I wanted to do this because I just wanted to start a business, right? Okay. Why is it important to you to start a business? I wanted to start this business because I wanted to have my own time. I wanted to have the freedom of my own time. Okay, why is it important to you that you want to have freedom of your own time? It's because I want to have, I want to have an opportunity to spend time with my friends and family, right? More. Because maybe I was in a job where I was working 50, 60 hours a week, right? Okay, why is that important to you to spend more time with your family and friends? Because I want to create memories and experiences with them. Why is that important? So doing that 7 times is going to get you to your why. I know it sounds crazy, but it definitely works. It definitely works, and it's go ahead.
No, I'm crying and I don't know why.
Oh,
I'm sitting here listening to it and I'm just so like freaking proud of you. I don't even know
oh,
what my deal. I'm like, listen to her. I asked that question. You're like 7 times. I'm like, go girl. Like I just suddenly had this vision of you like on the stage inspiring all these women. And I just like got a little teary. I don't know.
oh.
That was a little strange. I'm like, you're crying on your podcast and you're just talking about the why. What is your role?
Girl, you was making me cry earlier. I had tears in my eyes about, just like getting out of your own way and showing up, but I think that, I do this exercise with some of my clients, and it's like, they kind of are like, why am I doing this? But when we get to the end, it's like, oh, I really am able to see my real reason. And
Mm-hmm.
that's putting it all together of like really being able to sit and be like, yeah, like this is what's going to get me out of bed every morning, even when I have a bad day.
Mhm.
That's why.
Whew, okay, that was good. I'm just so okay. I'm proud of you. And what I envisioned when you said that 7 times, I'm like, I can see RoxTalks podcast listeners going, okay, I can work through that. I can do it 7 times, and I'll have an answer. I just feel like you opened up um, a something that people have been struggling with. You just made it really, really clear how to figure out what your why is.
Yep. It's called 7 levels deep. Like it's getting to your deeper why, because yeah, I know, with network marketers, right? Sometimes I feel like it can be like, oh, like I'm doing this because maybe I got into it from a friend, right?
Mhm.
But they actually have a lot of facets of the business that they love. right? But there might be some challenges getting in their way to help them really produce results in their business, to produce those impacts, to produce the impact. And so it really is like going deeper with your why. When you can go deep, right? Now you're able to move through fear and take action.
Beautiful. Okay, what's the second one?
Yes, find a social media role model. Find a role model, find a mentor, find a coach, someone who is actually walking the talk.
I love that. I use that in like all aspects of my life. Like if I want something, I'll go on social media and find someone who has it and I start following them. And I'm like, okay, look, you've got it. Oh, look how you're doing it. And it totally expands like your mind of like, oh, they can do it. I can do it.
Possibility. I like that. What's the third one?
Yep. So the third one is invest in quality content. And this quality does not have to mean photos. It means showing up with a message, right? A message that is authentic, right? It's from you, it's real, it's from your heart, right? It's not something that's been regurgitated or just taken from someone else. It's like, what are your thoughts, right? What do you believe about this? What has worked for you? Can you share your experience, not someone else's, right? So invest in quality content, and that's investing in the time that it takes to create the quality content, right? So, hey, look, I know that if you want to, like for me, I invest in captions for my business. Sometimes I also, write on my own, but as a busy business owner, I'm like, I don't have time to continue to write stuff on my own. So how can I have someone help me put a blueprint out there for me? And I know this is something that you do too, Roxanne, which is amazing. But it's like, how can I have someone help me just kind of get the words out and share my value, share my benefits within these captions, right? Or maybe it's, photos, some stock photos or some graphics that I can use in between showing my face all the time. If I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel vain and just keep showing my face, right? If that's how you feel, then do that. So invest in some content, especially if you are just starting off, or maybe you're in the middle of your business and cash flow is low, right? And you can't afford a social media manager at this time and point. Like, invest in something that you believe in, that's going to help you save time, because that is one of our most precious assets other than money. Honestly, it's probably the first one, right? Because our time on this earth is even just limited. It goes by. It's a fleeting moment, really. So invest in something that's going to help you be able to put more time back into other tasks in your business or in your life. Spending time with your family, with your friends, building deeper relationships, if that's your why.
That makes me smile. I know, Taryn, you're smiling too, because when this podcast airs, I think we'll have just started launching a little something special that's going to help people invest in their content. So that's exciting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes,
right?
actually, exactly. You're right.
Exactly. I'm like, we did not pay her to say this, I promise. I mean,
Like,
we
am I
paid her, but
spilling the
not for that.
secret? Like,
You're
oh my
just,
gosh.
Let
you're
the
just
secret be
empowering it. I
here.
love it. That was was that 3 or 4?
That was 3.
3. What's
Number
number
3.
4?
Yeah. So number 4 is just start where you are. Just start where you are. If you are afraid to start, right? You've just got to put one post out there. And here's the thing. Don't think about the vanity metrics. Don't think about the likes. Don't think about, because I want to give you an example. So Taryn found me, if you're listening from the beginning, Taryn found me through what? Google?
Google. Mm-hmm.
Google. And then did you look at my social media? I think you said,
I started looking all over like your website, and I saw you had blogs, and I was like, okay, she's like recent. This is up to date. This isn't some old piece of content that I just found, and Brittney Jean isn't around anymore.
Gotcha. Well, it's like Taryn, she was watching, but she wasn't engaging.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
She wasn't liking photos. She wasn't commenting. She wasn't sharing. I don't know if she was saving, right? Like,
No, definitely wasn't saving. Just did a quick look. I'm like, this girl's real.
so
Like her stuff.
I love it. I love it. But your biggest fans, they are not liking your content. So if we can drill this into your head, you will be able to create without having this like, oh my gosh, no one's gonna like it. Who's gonna like it? Are people watching? Are people gonna buy from me? Who cares? They are watching, they're just not engaging because they're looking at you of like, let me see if she's the real deal. And by seeing that you're the real deal, it's by you showing up just as you are with what you have. And if you can do that, you're going to be so successful. So successful.
So good.
I think we need to like repeat that part again where it's like just people are watching. And I have to remind myself when I'm on social media, I just scroll and I'll see something from Roxanne. I'm like, oh, that's really cute. Off I go, scroll. And I'm like, wait, go back. Like, push that darn like button. We don't do it as much as we used to because we're just scrolling. So I love that you said that. That's so like people are watching you.
Yeah. And I think we're just scrolling because we're like, yeah, we want to be entertained, but like we want to feel good. Like we want to relate. We want to connect. And so it's like, how can you infuse that relatability? How can you infuse just you, what you love, what you like, what sets your heart on fire? Like what you find funny. How can you just share that with someone and create a laugh, create an inspiration, a motivation, a like, oh, I needed that reminder today. Like, how can you create that in a world of where we're all just scrolling? Why are we scrolling? Because we're looking for something. We're looking for a reminder. We're looking for something to make us kind of step away from the everyday like hustle and bustle and monotony that sometimes can kind of come into our life. So how can you break that pattern, that scroll up with someone who you really want to impact? And it's by being yourself and finding a way to just relate, to just connect, and that's the first part. So you got to start where you are.
Okay, the fifth one,
give massive value. And now I know we're all in this, like, don't give a lot of free education and like, you're going to just spin yourself into a spiral. And then are people actually really going to buy? Hey, do what you want to do. Because if you are a wealth of knowledge and you want to give that knowledge, people are going to purchase from you. They're not going to purchase from you if you don't sell it, if you don't say, hey, sign up today. Hey, here's how to work with me. That's the first thing. So if you're someone who's giving a lot of free education and you're not actually getting sales, it's probably because you're not asking for the sale. Okay. So give massive value, give free education, be inspirational, remind people, hey, this is why you're doing this today. Hey, you're great. Here's why. Hey, like any of those things, right? So like give massive value in whatever way you can. Maybe it's inspiration. Maybe it's entertainment that also inspires or just makes people laugh, or makes people like, oh my gosh, that's so me, right? Or, oh my gosh, that's so someone else I know, right? Whatever it is. But give that massive value. Give massive value. And this goes even farther than just your social media. It's in actually how you serve your clients, how you show up for your clients outside of social media, how you serve them in your customer service, right? Process. It's being able to problem solve when problems arise, right? And it's just about really giving the same level of service and attention that you would want someone else to give you, right? Because we ain't walking into the Montage Laguna, or let's just say the Ritz-Carlton for people who may not live in California. We're not walking into Ritz-Carlton and being like, can I have some service? Hello. Like, no, because service is going to be right there waiting for us. When we walk through that door, right? We're going to be greeted right away. We're going to be asked, how can we help you? We're going to get the whole red carpet treatment. And that's what you want to do for your customers is like, you know what I mean? Even if you don't have the best technology in your business, if you don't have the best systems potentially, but if you can give that great customer service and go above and beyond, and over deliver in a way that's also protecting your energy, of course. But if you can do that, you can grow your business to new levels far beyond what you see right now in front of you or where you are right now. So give that massive value and don't be afraid to really go above and beyond for your customers.
So good. I always say that's the difference between why someone buys from you and another network marketer, or anywhere between where they work, worship, workout, and home, or
Mhm.
Amazon, because Amazon can bring it to me faster than I can go drive to get it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just ask someone a question, when I'm looking for something. I've gotten like people who just like send a link. They're like, here you go. And
Mhm.
guess what? I don't look at it. But versus someone like, what are your concerns? Like, oh, what are you maybe looking for? Start that conversation. And my dad is a salesman. He sells appliances, so washer, dryers, all that kind of stuff. And he's like the best salesman at his job. And he's like, the difference is a customer comes in, I start asking them questions to lead them to the correct product. Where he's like, I watch the other guys do it, and someone comes in, he's like, oh, I need a washer dryer. And they start showing them used, but they didn't even ask if they needed used. Like, my dad's like, you got to start like asking qualifying questions to lead them to the correct thing. And then they buy.
Absolutely. It's so funny that you say that because, I think that we can always, in our human nature, is we like to assume, but we can't do that in our businesses. We can't assume that someone can, and I've been faulty of this too myself, and it's like, we can't assume like what a customer can or cannot afford. So we need to ask really deep level questions, like you said. Like, I love that your dad does that. My background is in business to business sales, actually. So, getting training from world class organizations is, for me, it was amazing, and it honestly has helped me really skyrocket my business. Is being able to have that skill set, right? Being able to have that knowledge of like being able to lead my client or lead them to an answer themselves, not me picking something for them. Right. And
Absolutely.
so
Yeah,
when you have that skill as well, it's so impactful, and it really is like lead them to the answer. Lead them to the answer with
exactly.
your questions.
You're their guide. Like, you're just guiding them to the sale.
Absolutely.
Brittany,
Absolutely.
this has been amazing. I mean, we
Mhm.
probably need to do a whole nother podcast on the sale because you've got all sorts of opinions on that, but that's like a whole nother episode.
I know.
That
This girl's good at sales calls, so I'm just saying.
hello. Yeah. Like if you want to know how to sell something, Brittany is your girl. But
Mhm.
I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you have a freebie that we're going to make sure we put in the show notes so people know how to, or the tips, the guide to a brand photography. What was the exact
Checklist, the
checklist?
checklist.
Hell,
Yeah.
a checklist. I mean, the ideal is just they find you and they have you do it. But I understand that not everyone's going to do that, and so this is a way that they can
Mhm.
get started and then aspire to be with the Brittney Jean. Thank you so much. Where do we find you on Instagram?
Thank you so much for having me. So you can find me at two pages actually on Instagram. So it's at Brittney Jean Photography and at Brittney Jean Company.
Love it. And if you know someone who, I want you to just really quickly tell us about the course that you are launching.
I love it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yes.
I love it. So I am launching a course for service-based providers. So, and that is for your being able to master your sales call and your sales skills as a service-based provider. So if you are someone who sells a service, this course is going to be for you because you are going to walk away feeling so much more confident and being able to sell and market yourself in a way that is, empowering to not only your client, but to yourself as well, and lead you to working with your dream clients and being able to make, transformation and impact in such a deeper and more profound way. So if that's someone who is you and you are like, yes, I need to get confident in selling because I have goals that I want to hit, then this is going to be the course for you.
Love it. Love it. I wanted you to speak that out there so people know because you never know. So,
Yeah.
you would be lucky to spend time with Brittany because she is amazing. I'm so glad that you were on the podcast. We will have you back on again. And I should mention that if you're in social stories, guess who is going to be training y'all? That would be Brittney
Ooh.
Jean. So get excited about that as well
Yes.
too. Thank you so much, Brittany. You're phenomenal.
Thank you so much for having me, Roxanne and Taryn. It's always so great to
Yes.
connect with you too.
Good to
Mwah.
see you.
Taryn, if anyone was
Roxanne.
watching, we see that you're not home.
No, I have packed up the kids and we're down in sunny Florida. So goodbye, gray, cloudy, snowy Michigan. We don't have time for you anymore.
Poof be gone. Are you loving it?
Yeah, we're having a great time. We went and saw alligators the first day. There's like an alligator farm. So my son Davey, who's almost 4, is obsessed with alligators. So he was pretty happy and he got an alligator stuffed animal. So he's having a good time. And then I have a girlfriend that lives down here and she came and hung out for the afternoon yesterday. So we've been getting sun and hanging out with family and just having a great time.
I love
And
that so
not
much.
working. I've
And not
barely
working.
worked. I know.
I
Have you been
know.
missing me?
I've totally been missing you, but I'm like, I'll get to see her on Thursday. She's coming to the podcast. Podcast is on vacation. We still podcast. So there's that.
We still vacation on podcasts.
I've been missing Taryn. That's all I've been doing over the last week. So I'm like, where's my Taryn? Taryn is up. She's tearing up my heart. But in addition to just missing you, Taryn, which is true, I've been really, I started that mastermind, human design from
Yes.
manifesting, and I am telling you, I've never felt more like I feel like myself again. I think we go through phases where we just don't
Yeah.
fully feel complete. And it's really awakening and opening up some things. So I'm really excited about that. And just getting back into my, like, okay, Roxanne, you are part of my personality is that I'm a lot. I could be considered extra. And this mastermind is celebrating my extra. My extra is me. And so here I am, extra me. So there we go.
I love it. I've been loving like seeing you. So we all know I do the social and Roxanne has been popping in more and just showing your face. And I love that. And I just love your shine. So thank you for sharing it with us again.
I appreciate it. I just feel more inspired. I love pouring into people and I love coaching because it pours into me so that I can do
Hmm.
more for my students. And so I think sometimes we don't pour into ourselves enough. And so this is just like, I'm like, because like you said, um, when I get so into the weeds of coaching, I don't always get to be as creative as I want to be. So this is giving me a creative outlet.
Good. I'm glad. I understand where you're coming with that. It's hard to show up in all the places, just like in any business. It's hard to be all the places, especially like as you grow, like your team bigger and bigger. It can be a little challenging to find the time, not time, the balance of then showing up on your social media still.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Right.
find it. It's okay. It'll come back, and
Yeah, I'm not worried
that's why
about
you
it.
do coaching and stuff like that to help you find the light again. Just got to turn
Gotta
up the
get my
lighter.
groove back. All those things. It's real.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to
I
your
love it.
vacation, and thank you all for listening. I'll see you next week.
See you next
And
week.
guys, we want to know what you think about the intro and the outro because it's new and you're probably hearing it right now. So there it is.
Yes. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Bye.
Bye.